Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today it's a GM level match between Railgan and ArianaGrande here on Nightshade, the latter edition. Bottom right hand corner, it is the orange Terran player ArianaGrande. And in the top left hand corner, it is the purple Zerg player Railgan. So purple and orange here today. Really, really love this color combination. They just kind of contrast and pop. And it makes it really interesting to look at. And Railgan has this spinning image of a Hydralisk with warping in pylons for eyes. I like it so very, very much. Alright, so GM action here for you today. I don't cast very many of these, but when I do, you know it's going to be a good game because it needs to fit the bill, right? It needs to be exciting, it needs to be interesting in some way, and GM games I feel like are a little less standard than professional games, because there's not very much on the line here, right? It's just a ladder game or a practice game, and you can try out certain builds and not be punished by losing $10,000. One Rax expand here from ArianaGrande, 16, 18, 17 here from Railgan, so that kind of contradicts me, but that opening is very, very safe. Those openings are very safe for both of these players here. I've got a Reaper name here from Alexander. And let's see what it is. Let's see if it's a Reaper. ArianaGrande. It is. All right, Reaper's name is Falcon Paladin's wife. The kids were on a field trip for several days, and Falcon Paladin and his wife were all alone at home. She told him she wanted to go somewhere interesting and exciting. Falcon Paladin loves his wife and wants her to be happy, so he did the most logical thing, sending her to the Reaper program. And voila! Now she fights Xeno scum and loves every second of it. Let me just say, I don't think she would enjoy every second of it. But good Reaper name anyway. Falcon Paladin's wife here, gonna pop on out of the barracks, try to get some stuff done. But I mean, there's gonna be a queen, there's gonna be some lings, gonna be really hard to accomplish much of anything against the GM level Zerg player at the EU level for sure, which is where this is from. So, Reaper cruising across the map. Looking pretty good too. Kinda like this skin. The flames coming out are 40% bigger than they normally are, it feels like. Anyway, back home, we got ourselves a factory in production. There's the expansion on the low ground. SCV, there was no SCV scouts. I mean, I think this pretty much was straight up a, we're hoping it wasn't a pool first play. And it wasn't, and everything worked out just fine. So Reaper control isn't perfect, and neither is the Zergling control here, but it's good enough. The Reaper's not dead, and the Lings aren't dead, and that's the goal right now. Just do this dance until the Queen pops. There's the Queen. Exactly. ArianaGrande knows when that Queen is going to pop their third base coming up too. Checks to make sure that's a reality. It's not some kind of a two-base bailing bust. And once you know that, we're going to see macro all the way around. Creep spread gets started here. Do not do the tumor first, as Cyril likes to do in his TVZs, but that's fine. Injecting, I like injecting. It works for me. It works for a lot of people. You don't all have to play exactly like Cyril in every game to be like Cyril, right? Is it even possible for us to be like Cyril, or is there some kind of limit to our abilities? I don't rightly know. Anyway, Sloverlord scouting on in, trying to see what is going on over on this side of the map. It's a little bit early for the scout, but you will see the starport. You will see the double gas, which is very normal. There's a lack of gas at the natural, which indicates this probably isn't a Battlecruiser rush of any kind. Just Hellion production continuing over here with the orange Hellions. We don't see orange enough in StarCraft. We really don't, do we? When was the last time I cast a game with an orange player in it? This has to be a custom game for these colors to be present, right? This can't be ladder, because ladder is red versus blue. And in every tournament I've ever played, you make red versus blue happen. But although, technically tournaments are custom, and if the tournament organizers don't insist upon it, you can choose whatever color you want for your players and for your units. So Zerglings come in, say, ah yes, 4 Hellions and a Reaper. We'll just make some more Zerglings here. We'll make 3 Queens at a time, because that's really good against pretty much anything that can get tossed against us in the early stages is going to be Queens. You just have to have the map awareness to deal with this. And there we go. Are the Hellions just going in? The Hellions are going into a base where there are like 2 drones? I don't know if this is the best use of their time. So they're going to roast up a few Zerglings. None of them have died yet. I say that. Jinxing. Wow. All 4 of the Hellions get out. Unfortunately for Falcon Paladin's wife. Wait, she's alive. Where'd she go? She was with these. Oh, did she not go out on the... Oh, no, she did die. I was looking at the wrong thing. Dead. Okay, so unfortunately dead there, but died doing what she loved, which was killing Xeno scum. Which is like a Xenomorph thing, which is whatever. It's not Zerg, but close enough. Right, Lair on the way here from Railgan. ArianaGrande getting a third base. Up, back, home, working on a Battlecruiser. Holy smokes. Remember when I was like, it's not a Battlecruiser rush. It's totally a BC off of 2 gas. He's taking his 3rd and 4th gas. Now, are we looking at an armory? Again, you don't have to have an armory, but it is nice to have held bats here instead of Hellions versus things like Zerglings. They tank a lot better here. If with a Battlecruiser overhead doing damage, this could be pretty scary. It can be pretty darn scary stuff here. So Railgan doesn't know. He does know about the fusion core. He caught just a glimpse of it when it was under construction. So that's why he's making a ton of queens. He's getting a roach horn for the ground army that is sure to accompany these Battlecruisers. Or this Battlecruiser rather than these Battlecruisers. Got a couple evolution chambers and a roach horn here to block Hellions from just running into the natural base. They have to go around, which is really annoying. I like that play for sure. Viking ends up dead with 0 kills. An ignominious death there for sure. Third base about finished here. Probably going to try to land the third base at the same time. You're going to teleport across the map, and here it is. Is he just... Wow. So he's just teleporting to the main base, and then he's going to send the Hellions in at the same time. Like it. Like the multi-pronged stuff right now. So Hellions getting on into this third base. There are some lings, and there is a queen here. Battlecruiser fighting against a spore and a queen. Doesn't have Yamato, nor is it under research right now. Zerglings getting roasted up here. There is a single roach versus all these Hellions. Not exactly what you want. Battlecruiser has 2 kills, which is fine. Really needs to be focusing more on getting drone kills here. But again, controlling in both places is hard to do. Hard for the pros and harder for anybody lower than that, including GM players. Lining them up! Lines up the drones, though. All right, drone death count is 9 at this stage of the game. And we're not done yet. We're not done killing drones here. 15 drones killed. Maybe a couple more here. 18 drones down. In the first 6 minutes of this game, it's 56 to 40 workers in favor of ArianaGrande. Wow. What a fantastic Hellion attack there with the Battlecruiser at the back. Railgun struggling to control at the same time. Really should be taking a 4th at about 7 minutes, especially since ArianaGrande's 3rd is done. And going to land here any second. The creep spread has been beautiful out of Railgun, which I love to see here. Railgun does have his own YouTube channel. You should check it out. I'll put a link in the description. He also streams on Twitch fairly often. GMEU Zerg player. Pretty fun stuff. This Hellion attack not nearly as successful as the last one and does get wrecked. Gets riggedy wrecked there. Third base landing from ArianaGrande. And where do you want to expand? Probably here, Railgun. Maybe here would be fairly safe too. I kind of like here. It's a little bit less wide open than this one, right? Yeah, I think I'm right. Going for Roach speed. Glio Reconstitution, working on +2 melee attack, working on 7 drones at a time to replace the ones that died earlier. Hellions keep rolling in, but it's not working out as well for them as it was previously, and they're kind of just throwing away Hellions into their deaths. But we are meching it, guys. We are making tanks. We have multiple factories here. We have exactly the 1 barracks and the starport. If your opponent is still sending mass Hellions at you at the 8-minute mark, it's probably going to be mech, which is what the roaches are for, which is what the Glio Reconstitution is for, which is why there's an infestation pit on the way. You want those Vipers to deal with mech. You want to abduct the tanks. You want to abduct the Thors into groups of Hydras, ideally, but into groups of roaches is not bad either. You can get it right in the middle of that roach group, just blah, 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 blah. Burn them down. Hellions cruising up the left side. Again, it's hard to harass as a meching Terran player, but doing it with Hellions is the way to roll. So he has to go all the way up and around, and then they get trapped and all the Hellions die. Yep, that was the plan. That's exactly what Railgun was going for. Wow, ArianaGrande has a 4th base. He got a 4th! Railgun is double expanding to make up for the fact that he's down a base, which is good for him. I like this expanding to both of those locations. That is something you need to realize. A meching Terran player really can't do much against you except for Hellions for quite a while if you're a Zerg player. So you can expand a bunch. He's going for the Swarm Hosts, though. He is not going for the Viper play. He's going for Swarm Hosts against this mech, which can be pretty good considering the number of Hellbats that are on the ground. Is there an armory? Yes, 2 armories for upgrades, obviously. So we could have a ton of Hellbats in here. They can roast up the Locusts fairly effectively. And it really just comes down to how many Hellions, or how many Hellbats there are specifically to save your tanks, because they need to be there in the same place. Nidus Network on the way. Of course, you don't make Swarm Hosts without making a Nidus Network. 10 creep tubers at a time in production. Loving this. Really enjoying this here. This is spreading all the way up to ArianaGrande's 4th. Railgun pushing that creep back up to 72 workers. ArianaGrande at 80. herself or himself, depending on who this is. I'm going to say I don't think ArianaGrande is capable of playing StarCraft 2 at a GM level. So, not really Miss Grande here, unfortunately for the fans who clicked on this video thinking it was her. Probably not. Probably nothing that actually happened, though. So, I mean, who needs Nidus? Let's just walk our Swarm Host over here and launch and see what we can get done. Ah, the scan does reveal the presence of the Swarm Host, though. That they are alive, one thing, and that they're hanging out over here, another thing. The vision is real. Then as soon as the scan is done, we pop on down. We throw up the Locusts. We jump on top of these tanks where there are no Hellbats at all. So tank down. Tank down. And planetary. Nope, the repair is too good. Oh, and the tank survives. He tried to get greedy and go for both there, but the tank lived and the planetary lived as a result. Go for that guaranteed damage, friends. Battlecruiser is back. It's back, baby, in the 4th base of Railgan. We'll call the north one the 4th and the southernish one the 5th. If you can roll with that. Nidus Swarm erupting places. There's another one there, too. That's a Nidus. I was going to say, that's not an offensive one. I mean, probably not going to come out of that. Yeah, it was open for just a second, but there's no reason. No reason to actually unload anything there because it would die instantly regardless. There's a Battlecruiser overhead. It teleported over here to make it happen. Another wave of Locusts coming to the 4th base. This time the tank is dead. There's no saving the tank. This time maybe more tanks are dead. This time, no, planetary not happening. Killing SCVs is what you want to do here, and he is. Killed some SCVs there. 4 of them have gone down in this game, but it's still 79 for ArianaGrande. What is this? Double Liberator set up along the left side. Orange is so easy to see on the minimap, you guys. I kind of love it. Kind of really like it a lot. So he's denying mining from, well, like 1.5 bases at the same time. Really getting drone kills is not ideal here. For Railgan, that's a really nice Liberator sneaky attack here from Grande, though. Gets on out. The Ravagers are here to ruin your day. Nidus Swarm comes up. Battlecruiser ruins it immediately. And a flaming, fiery ball of death. Liberator's still alive somehow, some way, despite the fact there are Ravagers here to murder them. Never mind, they're gone now. Jinxed it. On there, I did. Lurker Den in production. Ghosts on the way. Thor's coming in here, too. Locust trying to jump on them Thors. Look at that target firing. And alive. Tank fire, planetary fortress fire, splash damage, all very good against Locust. They are light units, too. So they take bonus damage from anything that does bonus against light, including Hellions and Hellbats. Vipers on the way here as well. So, man, ArianaGrande, multiple bases. 1, 2, 3, 4 total bases here versus a 5 basings. Are both players pretty healthy economically in a pretty good space. Going for upgrades for Lurkers. Going for Adrenal Glands. +3 attack on the way for ground units. Has Ground Carapace been upgraded at all at this point? No. Carapace is for lesser wimps and not for Railgun today. Packing on in with Roaches and the Ravagers. Locusts. Swarm Host trying to come in at the same time here and maybe get this planetary for once in his life. The tank definitely down. He's trying to go after this planetary again. Corrosive Bile, yes, combination of Corrosive Bile and the Locust, enough to take that base down. Roach Ravager army trying to get out of here. I'm not sure why they didn't go up that ramp. Maybe it was bait or something. These aren't Lurkers, though. Oh, no. Scanning and the Swarm Host in a lot of trouble. Get on out. Parasitic Bomb tossed down on one of the Liberators. Nice job splitting off for the rest of them, though. And the Swarm Hosts on creep are not very fast, but they're faster than they are off creep, and they can run away from most things. As long as they're on that creep is the big deal here. ArianaGrande had a replacement orbital command ready to go at that 4th base, so the mining is not disrupted all that much. But it's not a planetary. You got to keep that in mind for future attacks. So Swarm Host going on Adaptive Talons. We're going for Lurkers that can burrow quickly, and they have the range of 10, I believe it is. I always forget exactly what it is. But I think it's 10. Creep Tumors getting poked down. Kapah, kapah. Locust coming on in. I don't think they can get this planetary, but... Okay, so they don't get the planetary. They don't get the missile turret there either, unfortunately. Attacking on up with Thor's. Blinding Cloud coming in. Liberators set up on all of the things here, but are there enough Hydras to get rid of the Liberators first? Railgun thinks there is. Jumps on top. Corrosipile's landing on these Thors. Firing left and right. Battlecruiser still attacking with 19 kills to his name. Battlecruiser operational indeed. 182 to 175 supply. Army supply is bigger for Railgan. Worker count better for ArianaGrande, and keeping these bases alive is paramount to this strategy working here today. 19 Hydras in production from Railgan. 18 Zerglings in production from the Zerg player 2. Working on 3 upgrades all across the map here, including Drilling Claws, which is not a 3 upgrade, but it's a good upgrade anyway. Widow Mines, another thing that's fairly good against Locusts, just because it does that splash damage. Thor's attacking off these Locusts, and by the time they land, there really aren't that many of them. I think maybe 2 of the Thors went down. But they were already injured, so it's maybe not as big a deal as you would think. Nightstorm comes up. You have an escape route. Unburrow, get in. Look how slow they are off creep. What are you doing? Oh, I think that was an F2. I think that was an F2 maneuver there. Or possibly just had all the Swarm Hosts in the same group and moved them in the wrong direction because all the Swarm Hosts just died. I think Railgan is done with Swarm Hosts against this meching Terran, if I had to guess. These Thors are dead. Unless they run, and they do. So 2 of them are dead. Close enough, I guess. Ghosts getting massacred as well. Parasitic Bomb again on another Liberator. Is there enough anti-air here? No, it's pretty much just all Lurkers. There's 1 Hydralisk. 2 Hydras, not really enough to deal with the 2 Liberators that we're dealing with here. Railgun expanding to the left side, a location where there's already a Liberator set up for your convenience in this location, which is funny stuff. Command Center going to try to get up here on the right side, but the creep spread is making it fairly difficult to expand anywhere, to be honest with you. Especially this tumor, I think, might get in here and actually mess with the landing. I don't think it'll get there fast enough. It does spread quickly, but I'm not sure the distance is enough, nor is the speed enough here to prevent that from landing. Yeah, not even close. Top right-hand corner, another base coming up from Railgun, double expanding, like all good Zerg players should do against the mech. Nidus Swarm down. Another Nidus coming in the bottom left. How many Nidus Swarms have died today? Only 4. Surprisingly, only 4 Nidus Swarms have gone down today. Battlecruiser on a mission to kill the top right-hand base all by himself. Should be able to do that. Liberator sets up in range of Queens that have +3 missile attack. So that does not go well for her. More Ghosts in production here, whether for EMPs, whether for snipes and steady targeting, I don't know. Big attack from Railgun coming in with the Lurkers and Hydras. Abducts going on top of these Liberators to some extent. Blinding Cloud going down on a couple of these tanks, but the Blinding Cloud wears off. A scan to see the remaining Lurkers, and Railgun has to back on out. Does not like the situation. ArianaGrande has enough tanks on the ground. They have good upgrades. They're going to destroy anything that they can hit, especially armor targets, which the Lurkers are. Got some forward evolution chambers here for Viper energy regeneration purposes. More Hydras in production. Evolution chamber dies thanks to like the 6 Vipers or 5 Vipers that are trying to get energy off of it by taking its HP. But resources lost, 24,000 for ArianaGrande and 20,000 for Railgun. So this is not a good situation for the Terran player. If you're losing more than your Zerg opponent is when you're meching, you're doing it wrong. But part of that, Battlecruiser down, is the Swarm Host. They're just incredibly cost efficient on their own. They can kill things, and the Locust costs nothing. So that cost effectiveness is through the roof. It's infinite, effectively. But we're done with those. We are done with Swarm Hosts and Locusts. We're moving into the Lurker Hydra style play here. Another Liberator left side. That Queen gonna die. Transfuse? Nope. No. Get out of there. There you go. You want spores. You want the spores in. The Liberator gets out. Very nicely done. Lurker setting up an ArianaGrande's attempt at like a 6th base here. 7th base, rather. Lurker's taking down that planetary as they outrange it with that upgrade. Going for high-sec auto-tracking to give the planetary fortress another range of upgrade. Another upgrade range, but is it going to be enough? I don't know, actually. Fully upgraded ranged Lurkers, fully upgraded ranged planetaries. Who wins? I think the Lurkers still win that. I think I've cast a couple games where high-sec auto-tracking is done, and the Lurkers still outrange that thing. Lurker range pretty good. Top right base is coming up again for Railgun after Battlecruiser so rudely destroyed it. Ducting tanks into this group, yeah, not bad. Yeah, lurker burrow and unburrow speed is insanely good. So Railgan happily sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. Some of them are super mined out, but the same thing for ArianaGrande. Once again, attacking into this seems like a bad idea. There's just not enough. There's not enough abduct. You want to get in here and abduct, 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 and then get away. ArianaGrande pushing it a little bit. Has not been able to be really all that aggressive today, with the exception, as more lurkers come in, of some Liberator harass and some Hellion harass. Tanks firing on those lurker eggs, forcing cancels. No lurkers for you and no Hydras either, friendos. These +3 tanks are not messing around. Killing creep tumors, denying lurker hatches. It's 195 to 179 supply. ArianaGrande has a lead in worker count. And in army supply, we are tied. More tumors down. ArianaGrande pushing creep back as best as he can. Or she can, assuming this is the real ArianaGrande. I know for a fact, though, that it isn't. I dislike that this is the name being played under right now. It brings me much happiness. ArianaGrande trying to expand to the top right, but Railgan's been there for some time. 9 lurkers in production. Way back here on the creep. Safer this time, away from enemy tanks. +2 air weapons on the way from ArianaGrande. And at this stage, what are we looking at? A lot of tanks, ghosts, and liberators versus what's it going to be? Lurkers and vipers for the most part. Obviously, there are some Hydras to deal with the liberators in the sky. The abducts really need to be on point here for Railgan for him to win this thing. And attacking into smaller groups of units is not bad either. See, that's a situation where you could have abducted, and taken out a good chunk of ArianaGrande's army. Lurkers do not outrange tanks, though. Tank range, insanely good, as it's always been in the history of StarCraft, and I love that it is. It's what makes tanks the cool units that they are. We're going to take every base on this map. There are 3 untaken bases at this point, which seems like a low number considering where we are in the game. We definitely could move into a situation where every base is taken and we're mined out. Kind of like the Ryu versus Robbie G game I posted on Christmas. If you didn't watch that game, I don't know what's wrong with you. That was an incredible ZVT that came down to the absolute wire. To the absolute wire. Go watch Ryu versus Robbie G if you haven't. It might be better than this game. I don't know. I'm not done with this one yet. It could also be worse. We'll see. Abduct, and Liberators down. Good. See? That's what we're talking about. Got some Infestors in the mix. They don't have Infestitarians anymore. They do have the Microbial Shroud, which nobody uses. That's exciting stuff. Greater Spire on the way from Railgan. Trying to get into that Brood Lord stuff. Yeah, this base gets taken by ArianaGrande. So, and there's a Zerg hatch down here. So one base has not been taken yet. And there is a Nidus Worm preventing anybody from doing that very easily, at least. No one can toss down a command center or a hatch here without some work. So a bit of a lull in the storm here, but I hope you're enjoying the match. If you are, check out the Falcon Paladin Hour. We have some recent reviews in there of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. We've got the Witcher Netflix TV series review there too, if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on that, as well as Somicron's thoughts, my fellow podcast host and Aussie. Just check out Falcon Paladin in your podcast app, whatever it is, whatever app it is, I don't care what it is, you'll find us. Or search Falcon Paladin Hour on the internets, and you'll find us that way too. So ArianaGrande sacrificing SCVs, trying to sacrifice SCVs to free up supplies, my guess. 93 workers is probably too much, especially considering the bank that he's rolling with right now. Greater Spire pops, and it looks good. This skin, look at that Greater Spire. That is cool. Have I seen a Greater Spire in mech skin before? I'm not sure that I have. So Lurker, good range. Is able to take down the tank, but that's because the tank set up in range of the Lurker. It didn't have to. Wow, look at that range, though. Hold on. Lurker range, that. Tank range, this. You know what? Maybe it's closer than I thought it was. Anyway, this base is dead. Thor's wrecking it. Railgun losing a hatch here. Bruling's chomping down a single Hellbat because that's what you can do. SCV's killing this Nidus Worm. There are some lurkers in the Nidus network, as we can see from that. Broodlord's showing up. Is the Thor count high enough to handle this? ArianaGrande says, I'm not sure that I think it is, but let's give it a shot anyway. Steady targeting going down on a couple. There we go. Couple of the Broodlords die, abducting the Liberators into this mix. But a combination of Broodlords mixed into pretty much anything does make the rest of the composition much better. Thor gets abducted and chased down by Broodlings, and eventually friendly fire tank splash might actually be the thing that kills it. Yeah, in a large way. In a large way, that's exactly what happened there. Yeah, once more, SCVs just being sacrificed so that more Thors and Liberators and Hellions can be produced. I mean, these SCVs still alive. They have killed a Nidus Worm, and they are killing drones now. That's incredible. Meanwhile, Railgan attacking on in. This planetary doing what it can against the innumerable Broodlords and their Broodlings. But it's not going to be enough to save the day here. Something needs to kill these Broodlords directly, and I'm not sure that there's enough. There are not enough Thors. There are not enough Ghosts. Planetary repair is good, but not that good, and the Planetary Fortress does end up exploding. And a great ball of fire there. ArianaGrande a bit on the back foot here, trying to defend against these units, but there are Lurkers, there are Vipers, there are Broodlords all over the place. Thor's trying to get some of that. They do outrange Broodlords. But if you're outnumbered 6-1, it doesn't really matter. Now the Broodlings are on the ground, messing with the pathing here. This is Railgan just marching to the beat of the Broodlord drum, getting on in here and wiping out another base. This is kind of one of those slow rolling situations where one base dies. Terran's really good at this too. You kill a base, you kill another base, and suddenly you're on fire. Ghosts trying to get stuff done. Oh, is that just a bad rally? Didn't even try any steady targeting. This one is, and so is this one. All right, all right. Those guys are too, going after these Broodlords to some extent. Planetary Fortress alive. Man, these Ghosts are doing serious work right now. Missile turret firing on everything it can see within its range right now. Planetary Fortress does end up living, and Railgan, I don't know if he's going to get this base. ArianaGrande is holding on by the very skin of his teeth. And he does force Railgan back. Holy cannoli. That was an incredible hold. I thought for sure everybody was dead. All of the Terrans were dead there. They want to steady target down that Broodlord so bad. Or just regular attacks are fine too, I guess. They got it. They got it. Is that the last of the Broodlords? That might be the last of the Broodlords. That's the last of the Broodlords. Holy smokes. ArianaGrande managed to wipe out the Broodlord count there. How many have died? 12. 12 Broodlords have been killed. Still, Railgan has lost 3,000 fewer resources than ArianaGrande has, but that hurts. Losing your 12 Broodlord army and being tossed back onto this Lurker Hydra stuff. Not super ideal. You weren't exactly killing it with that previously. You hadn't killed a base yet, I don't think. Lings rolling on into a bit of an undefended tank position, and they take care of it quite nicely. Again, Zerglings with +3 attack and adrenal glands and +1 carapace. Working on additional air upgrades, but nothing further incoming for these ground units. Blue Flame Hellions, though, doing all right against these really, really attack-heavy Zerglings. Reestablishing a base on the top side here, ArianaGrande. Really the only place that Ariana can expand here, and that's a forced cancel, and that's probably another dead orbital command that was coming over here for reasons, I guess. So Planetary getting chased away, man. Thor count really high. There are some Lurkers down here, but you kind of just move into them if you can see them. You might lose a Thor, but Lurkers are expensive, man. Okay, so are Thors. But I think killing 3 Lurkers for 1 Thor is probably worth it, especially in the gas department. ArianaGrande has 100 gas in the bank. Railgan sitting at about 400. Nobody's really that happy on gas. ArianaGrande is down to 15 workers. What the heck happened? I guess mined out over here, mined out over here, mined out here, mined out here, mined out here. The huge attack was there. Big Ariana needs to win this so that she can hold this base. Is it happening? Where are your tanks versus all of these Hydralisks? I don't see any tanks, you guys. I don't see any tanks. This base needs to live. It absolutely needs to live for this to make any sense at all. Top right-hand base. working on spines and spores to defend it. It is one of Railgan's only sources of income right now. Just kidding, he has this. And he is taking the bottom left. So we are taking every base on the map. We very easily could have mined this thing out at this stage of the game. In the matches that I've cast, the ones that make it all the way to this stage where every base has been taken, I feel like historically they have gotten to the point where the bases or map is mined out. And every map, every base is devoid of minerals entirely. Top right base for Railgan done. Railgan attacking into where the army is not. He can afford to lose that base, I believe is how he sees that, but I mean, Liberator defending is not going to be enough with the Corruptors that are in the sky right now, and yeah. So he says, you take out my top right-hand base, I'll go ahead, maybe get into your main, kill a bunch of your production. How does that sound? The answer is, not super good. Although, you are a bit trapped in here. So maybe don't get trapped in here. Lurkers above ground is not where they want to be. They want to be below ground. There you go. Burrowing in high ground, covering the ramp. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Those lurkers on the high ground covering the ramp make it so hard for ArianaGrande to get back into his own base. Yeah, losing some factories here. Not nearly as quickly as you would expect, but the Hydra DPS is pretty insane, especially with +3 attack. Ghost going down. He's trying to get Thors up this ramp, but the lurkers with their plus versus armored are just shutting it down. This is basically force fielding the ramp and not allowing the Zerg back into his own base. Putting lurkers on this ramp in this situation. And yeah, ArianaGrande just conceding the effort. And if Hydras want to chase him down there and die, that's totally fine with him. There's even an escape Nidus now. The only source of income for ArianaGrande is done. And I think that might be it for the Terran player. It was a good game. It was a good effort. Wiping out all those Broodlords was a massive achievement here, but it's 176 to 85 supply. The Thors are intimidating, especially considering they have +3/+3. But Zerglings, it turns out, surprisingly good against Thors. Ling Hydra, not a bad combination here. The Thors are trying to fight. Standing, not microing. Good game. Railgun is your winner here in 32 minutes. And 7 seconds, not 3 seconds. Wow. That was a pretty good unorthodox game, huh? Every base got taken. It was Lings. It was Vikings. It was Liberators. It was Ghosts. It was Thors. It was Infestors. It was tanks. Again, more tanks would have been good there, but that's the trick of StarCraft, is constantly balancing what's good against the composition your opponent has right now, right? It's hard to know exactly what you need to do. The Thors were good in certain situations, especially against the Broodlords, but not as good against this Ling Hydra stuff. The Ling Lurker Hydra stuff, not as fantastic. Some defensive tanks down here. But yeah, the huge attack down around this side. Maybe it was this base that was actually got killed. I don't remember. I don't remember which one it was on the right side here. But that ton of workers died, and that pretty much sealed it for ArianaGrande. And yeah, if you're going to lose 73,000 resources when you're meching against a Zerg player that loses only 61,000, that's a rough place to be. 3 command centers died, 3 planetary fortresses, 2 orbitals. That's a lot of dead bases for ArianaGrande. Railgun lost 2 hatches. That's it. 2 hatches, 8 Nidus Swarms, a couple of tech structures, 17 Swarm Hosts, and 12 Broodlords, though. That is a lot of dead. A lot of dead expensive Zerg, but I mean, ArianaGrande lost the same too. 20 Thors is a ton of Thors. Ton of Thors. How many tanks died? 35 Liberators and 25 tanks. Brutal stuff. But just positioning, right? Railgun had the map control pretty much throughout the entire game. Grande here was never able to take a serious push up and kill any of the... I mean, this top right base died, right? But nothing any closer than this one, I think, got killed. Anytime it got too close, there was too much creep. Railgun had too much response time and too much income to really allow the mech army to get any closer. So good use of Blinding Cloud there from Railgun. Loving that. And at the end of the day, just good, unorthodox, kind of weird stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. So that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.